Hey Mark, it's Trace. Um, Looks like you had a great week. Got your stuff down here, and I'm pretty pumped about. I think you're right that FTP was really good on Wednesday, and you had a great week. Your training stress was right up where we wanted to hit, and yeah, overall, I think you're really doing great. And so let's just take a look. Let's dig in here. If we go here to your week, right now you can see that you're at -3 TSB, which is good. If I dive in here a little bit closer and look at your week, you can see, remember how you were talking about, your legs being a little bit sore. Looks like you hit a peak of -7, and that was at the end of Sunday, and that's to be expected. So, again, this was just a result of all of the hard training. Interesting that the FTP really didn't knock you down much, and it's basically cumulative. So it's taking a while to knock back your training stress balance. So, and that's a sign the software knows and sees that you're doing good. So that's great. If we look at the calendar here, we can see here that. You're hitting some 80s and 60s here on your big days, so that's good. There's your FTP, which was at 77, so all of that's good. Your recovery days are looking good here too. Notice again your MFTP took another step up, so pretty happy with that. And uh, I'm thinking that we're doing everything right. I do know, obviously, I think a little soreness is good because that's a sign that we're really improving and everything else. I do have a couple of thoughts, and if I forget to say it in this video, hit me up on an email because what I want to just see if I can help you figure out another way of maybe being less sore. So. Uh, anyway, let's get through your stuff here. So if we look at over the last 30 days, you can see everything's going good. Again, here are those big hits. So since the start of the season, the work has begun, and you're doing great. Your acute training load is back up here, so all of that's good. Your 20-minute peak here was 253, so another big step up here. So that's very good. And your weekly training stress score was 331, and I believe if I get over here to the training stress planner, do I have that open? I do, yeah. Um, our goal was like 359, so we're 20 points off, something like that. So, actually, you know what? I might take that and just because I'm really happy with where you're at. So maybe I will take. I'm just gonna force this number down to be about 315 here. So 331 is your goal, and then so for next week. What I want this to do, I want this to be about 347. So we're going to add another 20 training stress points onto the week. So all of that's good. And yeah, like I say, I'm actually happy you're not at 350 this week. I'm glad you're right around the 320s. So that's really good. 330, sorry. And you can see that was 4,800 kilojoules worth of work. So that's a that's a lot of that's definitely a lot of work. What do I got here? Time your power over the last 30 days. Let's look specifically at your week here. So this is good because we have the good active recovery over here, and then we're offsetting that with the harder work over here. So there's not as much in between, which is good. We're seeing a bit better distribution over here and over here. If you were a sprinter, maybe we might be seeing a lot of peaks over here, and then a lot of recovery, and then none of this stuff in here. So sprinters would have the 400 watt range kind of things, but we're not really interested in that with you. Time and zones for this week here again. Your active recovery is your backfill, your tempo and threshold, all good here. This is the meat of your week, and then you're touching in a little bit of those VO2 max things too. So All good. And then training stress. Oh, timing's. Oh, where did I have it here? Anyway, I'll get to that here in a second. Training stress and intensity factor, very good. There's your recovery day, 2 big days, over the end of the week. Very good. And there's your FTP on Wednesday. So this is we're in the real base part of the season, and we're starting to look at how things are really they're starting to matter, and it's cool. So if this is cool, if we go back over the last 30 days, look at this. So the last 2 weeks, you've actually had these blue, because it's counting that as an outdoor ride. These blue zones are, more time that you've had available to ride outside versus the last, couple of weeks before that you were stuck indoors a bunch. But the little red dot is duration. I'm not sure why that dot's not showing up on that. If I go 90 days, yeah, so now it shows up. Sometimes the graphics on this thing don't always go, but you can see you've had more outdoor riding the last couple of weeks than you have since basically November. So, that's really very good. And if we look at last year at this time, you were getting a couple in here and there. So, that's just a and the week before that you had nothing outdoors. So all good, man. Let's see. Let's get into your rides. We're gonna hit here on that FTP, and so let me get over here. Okay, so anyway, let's start. Let's start with that FTP on Wednesday. What I did is I went ahead and just marked those laps and everything else, and this is cool because you can definitely tell this is outdoors. So you know, it's this section of road here that your FTP is, hitting on or whatever. So that's that's really good. Um, if I go to the ride summary here, your efficiency factor looks great. Look at that, dude. 1.9, 1.93, 1.93. Your efficiency factor did not drop through any of those sets at all. So that's really, really good. Now, here's the thing I'm hoping maybe we can change. And I've seen this on some of your rides. Actually, I see it on a lot of your rides when you're doing your big sets. And this is something that uh, that I think can also be sort of a good injury preventer. I know you're getting a really good warm up here, okay? So and then either like you're stopping and stretching here, but you're getting like between minute 13 and minute 18. So 5 or 6 minutes worth of just stopping, and then what I'm noticing is that you're getting right back on your bike and then hitting the hard set. I don't I think maybe if you could give me like 3 minutes of additional warm up right before you start those next sets, I think it's going to be better for you. And I think you're going to even see better power. Because again, here, if you look at where your heart rate starts out with, you're underneath 100 BPM here, and then you're jumping all the way up into the 160s. So if you can, after you stretch or do whatever, go to the bathroom, um, get back on your bike and give yourself 3 minutes or so. And I know this is, I don't know, this is outdoors, so I don't know how that works. But just give yourself a better little warm-up section here. You're probably going to be better off. Now these are excellent for outdoors. These are really tricky to do because of the varying degrees of the terrain and all of that. So you can see your power splits are really good. Your VIs 1.0. I don't understand how it can be point 8, 8.9 or point 0.9. It's either 1.0 or whatever. So that might be just a software mistake. But you're hitting really, really good. Let's see, where's your average power? Yeah, yeah, awesome. 316, dude. 38, 283. These are great. And then your max heart rate is kind of usually where you end up with. So you're working hard, feeling good. This is what we want. This is exactly what we want. And this week we're going to start adding in. We're not going to go to FTP2s yet for a while, but on Thursday, instead of just being like pure endurance, we're going to add in a little bit of more tempo. So we're going to be starting to backfill some of that. So this was your ride Thursday, And you can see that all of that stuff looks very good here. If I just do a quick, to do that, sorry, I'm just going to call that 1. And I'll call this, let me just get a little spot here where there's some work. And just take a look at your efficiency factor. I'll just call that 2. And then uncheck that. So 1.55, 1.80. So you were actually you're gaining efficiency here as you were riding. So again, from like a health check or a stress check, you're doing fine. So even though you're sore, your body's doing great. And then this is the endurance ride here. We have these 3 laps. This was on Friday, the endurance, the 3x5s. So one of the things I really still like about you're doing these sets is you're keeping your cadence up in between and kind of really spitting that out. So that's good. So let's see, 1.82 efficiency factor, 1.81, 1.81. It's awesome. And you were saying a little bit about your left-right balance being off. This doesn't look too critical to me. I know you're paying attention to it, and that's good, and that's really all we want. And again, this is good tempo, 260, 270, 276 with a 146 average heart rate. Look, your heart rate didn't change. So again, tells us that we're building up the fitness the way we want. Same deal with Saturday. I kind of had to zoom in on that. I thought I had saved that, the whole zoom in section here. Let me just make that for you again. Sorry. I'm just going to call that. Don't I have a zoom range? I thought I did. I'll call it zoom range here just so we can see that a little bit better. So I zoom range here so we can just see it a little bit better, and then I can uncheck that. Okay, so these are your 20-minute set. 20 set 1, 2, and 3. 1.74, 1.72, 1.75. So you're gaining efficiency as you were going. Your best efficiency factor was set 3, and that was your last set. So very good. Here's a little bit more where the left-right balance was a little off. Again, just pay attention to it. No need to panic or anything. Just as you're riding, just kind of see what you can do. Oh, and this is another one of those sections here where I see you're taking the 18 to 26. So that's a 7-minute break. Maybe just get a couple minutes of spinning. And try to get your heart rate up to maybe 120 or so, and then start your set. So that might help you too, and kind of alleviate some of that stress. And you can take some of that warm up out of there over here on this side, and just move it over to this spot here. 243, 244, 247. Awesome, really good. And then Sunday, more of the same. 3x5s. I marked these. These are all great. It's kind of interesting? Your heart rate started low here and then peaked up, and then the next set here started low and didn't go quite as high. And look, your power was higher there too, which is really cool. 316. Yeah, these are hard sets, man. And not much break in between. What are we doing? Like 1 minute in between the sets. That's great. It's killer. And I'm glad this is also important down here. Even just getting over 150 watts here, this is really important. So good deal. And then again, yesterday, this is just your weights, and then you're spinning here. So and I think, let's see if we go to heart rate 115, 120 or whatever. So that's just working out the kinks. Just as important as the hard stuff. So that's all good. So for the week, let me see if I can get it back over here. To the week, so we're going to try to add 20 training stress points on, so it shouldn't be too hard. But here on Thursday, so where it says after 20-minute warm-up, adding some tempo in. So do 3 sets of 8 minutes at 260 watts or so. So this is going to be a bigger day than you're used to on Thursday. 3 sets of 8 minutes tempo. So actually, you know what? Maybe we'll even drop that down. I'm going to drop that down to 245. Because in thinking about it, I think it's gonna add. You're gonna have the extra training stress points anyway. And I'm adding like 10 minutes on to some of your other stuff. So then on Friday here, this is going to be 80% of the ride should be endurance, but get in some 3 to 4 minute sections of tempo. We're looking for maybe 5, 7, 10 more training stress points out of the ride. And then here, 110 minutes, free choice. Goal is to be about 90 training stress points. So hold back on any extended efforts until tomorrow. So more than anything, this is just going to be a long endurance, light tempo kind of stuff. If you could get outdoors, if it's all possible, just a nice long ride would work great. So here, then on Sunday, we're going to go back and we're going to try to get in a 20-minute block at 275 watts. That's your goal. So here's basically where we're starting to work that 20-minute section, and you're ready. You've got that. You can do. You'll be tired and ready for the easier spinning day here. But so we're going to add 70 minutes of spinning here on Monday, and then here what I'm saying is go by heart rate. So you got to keep yourself between 125 and 130 heart rate. Nothing more on Monday. So again, everything is based around keep your workout here on the 4th in mind. Keep the 5th in mind when you're doing the workout on the 4th. So that's pretty important there. And I think, let's see, gosh, do I have anything to say? Yeah, you're really the only thing I'm thinking that might be able to help you is just that little pause in between all of the sets. So besides for that, I think everything's, dude. The FTP was awesome, outdoors and everything else. It's all proving to you stuff that we've known about you, but it's a confidence builder because we definitely know you're able to handle this at a much better level, and you're going to be you're handling it not only in theory, kind of like in the lab, but you're actually handling it for real in the real world. And I think your idea too of going down and just riding the TT course maybe two or three times before you do it, that's a great idea. So yeah, great week, and I'll get you this sent over, and I hope you have a good week, and love you, brother, and stay safe and have a good week. Thanks, man. Bye bye.